So in this video we're going to be looking at everyone's favourite junction, the dreaded roundabout. No! Everybody gets scared about roundabouts. No reason to be frightened. If you just think of a roundabout as just being a left turn, because that's all you're technically doing when you're approaching a roundabout. You turn into the left, you're following the road through, and then when you exit you turn into the left. So every time you approach a roundabout, just think of it as just a T-junction with a bigger view potentially, so you can see what's coming from the right. There's no need to be frightened of roundabouts. They're actually very, very easy when you approach them correctly. And what we're going to be doing today is looking at these roundabouts and just going through my top tips, which are approach speed, when you should be checking your mirrors, what gear you should be in, and how you just prepare yourself to stop. So let's get stuck into this and let's have a look at roundabouts and make them something where we're not frightened anymore. So my top tips for approaching roundabouts. Firstly is position. Now, everybody gets confused with positioning on roundabouts. If we are going left or if we're going straight, we always position in the left hand side unless the road tells us something different. So if there's arrows on the floor, we should be checking them on approach and changing our position accordingly. But if it's a standard roundabout, we look at everything before 12 o'clock is left hand position, everything after 12 o'clock it's right hand position. So if we're going straight ahead, it's rear and left mirrors. If we're going left, it's rear and left mirrors. Now 10 to 15 cars away, we should be starting to check the mirrors, and we should be getting our speed down to about 20 miles an hour. When we're about 6 to 8 cars away, we should be thinking of the gear change. So if we're anything higher than second, we should be down to about 10 to 15 miles an hour at that point, and we should be picking second gear. Now 6 cars away, we should be given an indicator if we are turning. So if we're going left, we should have a left indicator on. If we're going right, we should have a right indicator on. If we are going straight ahead, we do not indicate on approach. So if we're going straight ahead, we indicate when we leave the roundabout, and when we leave the roundabout we're always turning left. So just after the exit before the one we want, we recheck our rear and left mirrors and we put a left signal on, and then we can just increase our speed as long as it's safe to do so. If we're approaching and we turn into the right, then exactly the same approach. I need you to get your speed down to about 20 miles an hour and start checking your mirrors about 10 to 15 cars away. Then we pick the gear 6 to 8 cars away and signal. Now there's going to be a lot of people saying that it should be mirror, then signal, then position, then speed. As long as you're checking your mirrors first in good time, your position, your brake lights or your signal, your indicators can be a signal. So we're actually looking to make sure that everybody knows what we're doing and we know where everybody is. If there's nobody approaching from the right, we can enter the roundabout in second gear as long as it's big enough for it, and we can just continue to go. If something is approaching and we think that it's going to be inside the roundabout or we're not sure where it's going, then what we need to do is prepare ourselves to stop. So about 3 cars away we should be gentle braking, putting the clutch down and picking first gear. So when we're approaching any roundabout, we should always be prepared to stop, and if we are stopping we need to be in the correct position for where we want to go. So if we're going straight ahead or if we're going left, we should be in the left position, and if we're going to the right we should be in a right position, unless there's road markings to say something totally different to what we believe. So I always check the road markings on approach. Now when we approach, if there's something approaching the roundabout and I think that I can't go, I'm going to prepare myself as if I'm going to stop, but I'm going to try and prepare myself so it actually gives me time to go. So I'm going to try and time it so I never have to stop on these roundabouts. So I've got my first roundabout coming up and I'm going to be going straight ahead first exit. So because it's straight ahead, it's rear and left mirrors, And when I get to the roundabout, I want to be doing about 10-15 mile an hour, about 4 to 6 cars away. I'm going to put my left indicator on because I've just passed the junction. I'm doing 16 mile an hour. Gives me time to check to my right. The vehicle to my right is not going to cause me a problem, so I can follow through with the roundabout. Now I've got another roundabout in front of me. It's slightly larger than the last one, and I'm going to be coming back on myself. So because I'm coming back on myself, I need to be going into a right position. So rear and right mirrors, right indicator, right position. But I'm going to have the same approach speed. So about 4 to 6 cars away, 10 to 15 mile an hour. I can check to my right. There's nothing coming from my right, so I can go, and I'm going to stay close to the roundabout. As I'm coming round the roundabout, just after the penultimate exit, I'm going to check my rear and left mirrors and left indicator. And that puts me back on the roundabout I've just come off. So this time I'm going to be taking the second exit to the right. So I check my rear and right mirrors. There's a mini roundabout. Now there's a lot of controversy over mini roundabouts. Check my mirrors again. I've got my 10 to 15 mile an hour. And that's the indicator on the exit. Now if the roundabout is large enough, I always say indicate to come off. So rear and left mirrors, left indicator. Now what a lot of instructors say is when you're coming off, you don't need to indicate if you're going straight ahead. Now technically on that one, I'm not actually going straight ahead. So the next roundabout is actually coming up, and I'm going to be taking the second exit straight ahead. Now, because of the angle I'm going into the roundabout, it actually looks like it's a right, so I'm going to be using a right indicator. So when I can see the roundabout sign, and I can see it's a mini roundabout, I can check my rear and right mirrors, right signal. Because this vehicle's coming towards me, I'm still going to approach the same, 10 to 15 mile an hour, about 4 to 6 cars away. The vehicle coming towards me has got his left indicator on. Now this one, a lot of people will say don't put the indicator on, but I'm going to put it on. I'm going to check my mirrors to come off and then put the indicator on, because the learner was watching me. I just want to make sure that they benefited from that indicator. When I'm going to come back on myself, so I'm taking the fourth exit back on myself. So rear and right mirrors, right signal, 10 to 15 cars, I'm under 20 mile an hour. I'm checking to my right, there's a van coming. So I'm going to pick first gear, but it's put his indicator on, and I roll out into the roundabout. I'm not going to change gear. I'm going to check my rear and my left mirrors and the left signal to come back off. Quick check behind just to make sure that I know what's around me. Okay, so this time I'm going to be going first exit left on the roundabout, and I put it into third gear. I'm doing 20 mile an hour just so I could show you how we change the gears on approach and the distance away from these roundabouts when we should be changing the gear. So when I'm about 10 to 15 cars away, I'm going to come off my gas pedal, start to think about my mirror checks and my gear changes. So I'm about 10 to 15 cars away now. I'm doing just under 20 mile an hour, so mirrors, signal, and I'm going to change into second gear. I'm doing 10 to 15 mile an hour, checking to my right, nothing coming towards me, nothing coming over the roundabout. As I exit, I'm going to just check my rear view mirror, and then we move away. So this time we're approaching a roundabout and we're actually coming downhill, but the approach is going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to be going right on the roundabout. So mirrors, signal and position. I'm getting it down to 20 mile an hour. I'm in second gear. 4 to 6 cars. I'm doing 15 mile an hour. Nothing coming from my right, nothing coming over the roundabout. As I start to turn, I'm going to ease off my brake because I'm going back up a hill. Mirrors, signals to come off. Check my rear view mirror again, and there's nothing behind me. So I hope that these roundabouts which I've just done today now have helped you. If there's anything which you need to know further on roundabouts, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to help you out a little bit further, and I really hope that this video has helped you. Please hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll continue to put out further videos to help you on your driving tests and beyond. Thanks for watching.